This is Justin Amazon for Friday, October 4th, 2019. Taking a look at this downtrend channel that we just drew in and seeing that we actually kind of broke out of this a little bit. Got a kind of a nice bounce up about the same distance away that we did this day. But instead of coming right back into that range, we actually stayed above it really nicely. There was definitely some bouncing around on Friday morning, got below 1727.80, held above it with this nice hammer. I mean, didn't get back below, which kind of set the stage for just kind of a grind higher sort of day, which kind of works out sometimes on a Friday because an out of the money option can just barely get in the money, but the value can go from next to nothing to something. But then it's a matter of picking the right option. In this case, the option prices, we can look at the calls, what was going on, but sometimes the out of money ones, when the stock is just moving up like this, the option is just flat, and that can be a good one to look for, just to, again, like I said, just to grind higher. That what's feasible for today. You got at this point of the day, by noon o'clock, by noontime, you got some lower highs, higher lows. What's really going to happen? Could it get moving up? How far could it go? Maybe it pushes up to 1735, maybe to 1740. Okay, well, let's go look at that. So this is the 1730 call, and you can see the lows in here. We had a low about $3 right at the open, and we came down a little bit below that, but then we held that value. And you can see back here, so the value was like $3 down here, and then like 250, less than 250 here, and then stayed at that range. All the while, most of this was out of the money. And then we got into the money. And let's see, was it 12 o'clock? Not 12 o'clock. What candle was it? 1020. The 1020 hammer. 1020. What did that look like here? That price, 268, 262, 250. Okay. So this hammer's price was a good guide for, a low to look for on an option. And so the 1730, and we're too far away. If you go a little further out, so let's go look at 1735. Okay, so 1020 was that hammer, and we took that out over here and again over here. This is an option that you would have been wanting to, get into and flip out right away. So maybe buy at $1 and flip out at 2, or in this case, it actually went even higher, which was great. But I give you a couple opportunities: 1 by 0, so absolute zero play, and just scalp it for an R, or even get out at from 1 to 3, get out for 2 Rs. Worked on both occasions. But you can see you're making much lower low. I don't mean like much lower, like it's still within the $1 range. It's just not holding the low. You can see we're holding the low, holding the low, holding the low. Take out the low. Clearly take out the low. You actually get a close, some closes down, well, a couple closes down below. And if we go back to the 1730, let's see here, zoom back in, back to the 1730, all we got were some wicks down in that range. Never got a close down there. So it just shows that you've got a little more premium at stake for the market makers to allow that to stay at a certain value. We did a really good job of holding 1727.80 right here, 1727.84, 1728. Yeah, so really nice tweezer sort of bottom here. And again, it just grinded higher, held the 21 most of the day, and just worked out. For puts, on the other hand, puts, this is the 1725 put. It just grinded lower all day. You had a little bit of consolidation and a bounce. So this is an area that you're running into some resistance here. Let's see, what resistance was up there? I guess maybe not as much as I was thinking. Not too much resistance up here. I guess the only thing is having 4 bullish candles in a row, just kind of running out of some steam, needed to rest a little bit more. and we were losing some of that bullish momentum even as this was trying to get going. Popped up a little bit here, popped up a little bit here, um, and just really ultimately pulled back. And so I guess just the breakouts weren't working. So if you got in up here, breakout didn't work. If you got in down here closer to support, looking at the right option, then that could have worked. But if there is a way to play this, or if there was a good reason to go bearish here, and I'm not really sure what that is, just because you got support right here, then maybe you could have put a play in on the puts. Otherwise, I don't really see a reason to get in here at, like 3x2 or something. You would have made it 2R going from 3 to 5, but just didn't really have as clean of a setup as just the, especially right here or getting in some of these lows over here. So that would have been getting in, like even doing 3x2 here. Let's see, this was right at noon was the last chance here. So this was right at noon where it pulled back in the 21 again, and then any other touches the 21. So the next one was at 12:55. 12:55, that was way up here. So you kind of missed out on getting in off the 21 when the 1730 call was really, in this case, right at the money, pulled right back into that price. So you could have been doing here 3x2, something like that, and then just holding on until it ran up, probably to some sort of like I'm seeing kind of a triangle here as a target. So doubling that option from 3 up to 6. In this case, you could have held out to the highs, but you're never sure where that's actually going to work out to on the options. So that was at 1240. 1240, yeah. So I made a high here, a bit higher than these highs, but made a better or a higher high in the option price, or same high in the option price, even though it was a higher high in the day. Overall, this looks like a bit of a wedge. We've got higher highs and higher lows. I think the higher highs the higher lows are steeper than the higher highs. So what I'm seeing, let me see if I can. I'm gonna need to sketch it with a line because I can't draw that straight. What I'm seeing is something like this. Let me draw this and this. So it's it's a wedge. It's getting tighter on the range. So we'll see if we have any sort of breakdown from that, and what that could mean for where we head into the next few days. We could definitely come back down to this downtrend and kind of bounce off of it. If we come down to 1714, we could still bounce off that. Back in the daily, we've got another Morningstar reversal forming here with a really nice hammer. We're right in this range, which is very similar to where we were after this large hammer here and off of the bounce that we got this time. This was like a kind of I want to say flash crash, but it was a quick breakdown and recovery. This has been a slower grind lower, which makes sense to have some grinding higher, kind of a retracement, and probably ultimately a bigger rollover. We are still below this resistance, 1747. If we get a close above it, it's going to start to make this look like a double bottom, which could turn into inverted head and shoulders. Any of that could play out. But right now, this could just be a bigger flag on kind of like just this breakdown here and a retracement back up towards some of the lows in here. And it's not just this level exactly, it's this range. So if we were to get back up to the 21, like 1767 here, or by tomorrow, wherever it'll be, 1765, I don't know. Let's see. From this day to this day. So it dropped about almost $3. So it'll probably do something similar to that, almost $3, $2 to $3 again. So maybe 1765 is where the 21 will be tomorrow. We'll see. If we can get up there, great. That's a good place that it could totally roll over. If you get a close above this upper wick, then you could potentially be trapping more bulls if it does roll over. And you're going to start to trap some bears as well. So we'll just keep watching, see where things are headed. But we did lose a little bit of the bearish momentum here. And doesn't mean it's not bearish anymore. It just means it's having a little bit of rest, and it's going to let some bulls come in, and we'll just kind of have to wait and see how it all plays out. So, yeah, Hope this helps. Be back soon with more. This is Just AMZN. Thanks.